Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today is a very, very important day, and this is going to sound really silly, but this is the 8-year-old they call it Coach Pitch Baseball League. This is the draft day, and that is silly. It is ridiculous that parents and Little League takes baseball this serious when the kids are this young. But you would be shocked at how serious it is. There's backroom deals, all kinds of craziness. There are people threatening to go fight each other in the parking lot, the whole thing. And yes, it's 6, 7, and 8-year-olds. But today is the day that it happens. So hopefully the digital asset investor can get out of there without being challenged to a fight in the parking lot. Actually, I'm one of the guys who doesn't care that much. All I care about is training my sons, but this time I'm going to be a coach and help some other people work with their kids. But I don't get in fights in the parking lot over Little League. I'm a little above that. I like to think. Okay. First, I Am Legion. This is he sent me this right out of the gate this morning. There was a lot of good information this morning. Very interesting. SBI, Visa, and World Bank's group. Now, look at this. This is from the block. I have to refresh their articles in order to not have to pay every once in a while. Ripple investor SBI Visa joined $80 million round for remittance startup Currency Cloud. Currency Cloud, a London-based startup that builds tools and APIs, application programming interfaces for payment companies to enable money transfers, has raised $80 million in Series E round. The round was backed by notable investors, including Japanese financial services giant SBI, Visa, World Bank's International Finance Corporation, BNP Paribas, and Thailand's oldest bank, Siam Commercial Bank. How many names did you hear in there that are also working with Ripple? A lot. Existing investors include Oceanfront, formerly known as Google Ventures, who also invests in Ripple, folks. So you see what's going on here, folks? It's like everybody's marrying into the family, right? Okay. All right. Now, this right here, I'm not going to show you the whole video, but I did want to show you just the opening clip, and here's why. It says this is a CNBC video right here. 1 in 4 Americans are either unbanked or underbanked and don't have access to some basic banking services. Well, here's my question to you before I play just the opening of this video. There's 2 things that have happened in the last 5 or 10 years. One thing is this guy, who in my opinion is one of the most arrogant people on CNBC. I don't even remember his name, but he's one of the many on CNBC who have made fun of the whole crypto and blockchain. They've been making fun of it and downplaying it for 10 years. What's the other thing that we've heard for the last 10 years or so? We have heard Brad Garlinghouse and many other blockchain-related companies use the terms unbanked and underbanked when referring to people that blockchain, and specifically XRP and maybe a couple of others like Stellar, can help to solve this problem. We've heard this terminology, and I've said 1,000 times on this channel, words mean things. It's not a coincidence that this guy and CNBC, it's almost like they've now been told, okay, now you can begin to sell blockchain. I've said that this would happen for a long time as well. This, I believe, is the first example of this really starting to happen. They put together a specific segment. They even flew his butt down to, I think, Mississippi, to a rural area to make him go down there and do the pitch. Watch.
They estimate 1 in 4 Americans is either unbanked or underbanked, meaning they don't have access to basic banking services. Some don't trust banks. Some live in banking deserts where there aren't any banks, and some think they're just too poor to open an account.
2 fires in her homes in the Mississippi Delta left Farrah Appleberry and her 4 girls destitute.
Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I think you can see clearly now how this is going to go down. Once Wall Street and their media that Wall Street does control, once they're given the green light, they will begin to sell it. And that includes when you start to see a Ripple IPO roadshow or any other company like Coinbase, anybody that starts to go towards IPO. As I've said all along, when all of these people have skin in the game and they can now make money off of it, they will begin to sell it even more than the digital asset investor. And that is what you're about to witness with all this IPO stuff coming. Here it comes. All right, and that includes Super Bowl commercials. Don't be a bit surprised. Now, I don't know if this year, if it's too early or not, but don't be a bit surprised if this year is the year because of the IPO talk. Michelle Vandenberg sent me this. Bloomberg, as investors reacted to the spread of the coronavirus, stock futures tumbled with crude oil. Yen jumped while offshore yuan slumped. Markets in China, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Australia are shut. What you need to know about what's moving markets. Now, I covered something yesterday which was important. Caitlin Long, I believe was her name. She was talking about how we all know that what's been done for the last 10 years is basically the markets have been a mirage. And what the point she was making is that all it takes is one flash point, and the coronavirus is the type of thing that can set things off so that, I think Warren Buffett always referred to it as when the economy collapses, and it's like the tide in the ocean going out, and you find out who's been swimming naked. And in other words, you find out all of the companies who have too much debt or that type of thing. Well, these are the type flash points that cause the beginnings of those things to happen and things to crumble. Well, look what's happening this morning in the stock market. Dow futures sink more than 400 points as coronavirus case rises. Okay, now this is what the crypto market looks like this morning in that same scenario. We've added around 10 billion in the last 24 hours. XRP is up almost 4%. We're about 23 cents. This market is just dying to be green so far this year. And anytime it pulls back a little bit, it comes right on back. I feel very good about the market right now. Now, I'm going to show you a smaller clip of this, but I wanted to give XRP Darren the credit. I think he's the one that he actually has it on his channel at Fame21More had put this up. This is Ripple's attorney. And remember, before I go on, I want to remind you, this attorney, Stuart Alderati, came from the bank CIT, where he was in-house counsel. The board of CIT included our current Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin. That is the board that picked Stuart Alderati to be the counselor for CIT, the in-house attorney for CIT. When he left CIT, when Steve Mnuchin left CIT, he left to go become the Treasury Secretary. Stuart Alderati leaves to go be in-house counsel for a tiny little startup that's going to do IPO this year or next called Ripple, who also is working on the greatest digital asset ever created, the greatest use case, XRP. See how all this works? Okay, so this is a clip from Stuart Alderati, and I think XRP Darren was the first to do it. This is his YouTube channel, which you should go and subscribe to. Darren Moore Jr. is his YouTube channel. Well, I got this little short clip of it from Coining 203. So I wanted to show you that. This is what I was going to let you watch just because it's shorter. From Digital Assets Daily, SEC announced they're going to do a node on the XRP ledger. Now, folks, I remember we covered this a while back, I believe, but it's worth showing you again. This guy right here is the in-house counsel for Ripple, and he's telling you that the SEC is going to do a node on the XRP ledger. For me, that would be like Brad Garlinghouse coming out and announcing that he and the SEC chairman, Jay Clayton, are going to start a fantasy football team together. I mean, how much closer does this thing need to get for everybody? But just watch the clip.
XRP sits, as I said, on an open, permissionless ledger. How do I know that it's open and permissionless? Because the chief technology officer at Ripple tells me it is. He explains it to me, but I also have hard evidence. The SEC announced about a month or two ago that they're going to establish a node on the XRP ledger and other open and permissionless ledgers. The SEC didn't call Ripple to ask permission to do that. They're just going to do that.
How about that? Okay. And next, I wanted to make a point here, folks. This is from Rhythm Trader, and they say Bitcoin is created out of thin air. What you are about to watch, and I'm not going to show the whole thing, it's 2 minutes and 19 seconds. What I want you to watch, while you're watching this, I want you to think about those dollars in your pocket, because what you're watching is the dollar printing presses. This is the whole essence of why people like me showed up to this digital asset party. Because remember, there will never be more than 100 billion XRP. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. Okay? I'm invested in those too. Watch this and think about the value of what your dollars in your pocket, which they have been printing for over 50 years at will, printing. Watch this. I think that pretty well. Now, here's my question after watching that. If you worked in that money-making factory, literal money-making factory, and you were trying to decide what to invest in, I can promise you if I worked in that factory, having my money stored in that would be the last place on the planet that it would be stored. I mean, that is just disgusting for me to watch that, because I know that these guys have been playing games with our money for decades and decades, if not hundreds of years. And it's not just our money. It's also, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is, shares, stocks, everything. It's all been a game the way that it's been. What I love about digital assets, one of the many things, is that it's math. It's based on math. And so it can't be diluted the way they're diluting that. And I want to make another point. Okay? This, right, what you're looking at right here is a scene from The Social Network. Many of you saw this movie. Let me remind you, this was the guy named Eduardo who started Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg. This is a scene in The Social Network, which is a movie about the creation of Facebook, where he walks out, and the guy that created Napster had kind of worked his way into Facebook, and they basically, without this guy knowing, they diluted his stock shares to being not worth near what they were worth as an original investor. In this scene, you should all go watch this scene. He's basically just found out that his stock shares have been diluted, and that what he owns is worth just a tiny fraction of what he had. Now, that's not a common occurrence, and I'm not saying that owning stocks is a bad thing. But what I do want you to understand is that there is such a thing as dilution of stock, of shares of stock. And I'm showing you this not to say that owning stock's a bad thing. That's not my point. I'm showing you this to show you that a time is coming where there's going to be shares of Ripple stock, and there's also going to be XRP, which is their number one product, which is a digital asset. Okay. And that's not me saying it. Stefan Thomas said it. I got it from Mr. B not too long ago. It was in a Jungle Inc. video. But the point I want to make is those shares of Ripple stock, those shares are going to be shares that can be diluted, because it doesn't Ripple or anybody else shares of stock can be diluted. It can be manipulated. But there will also be an asset that's owned by Ripple that can't be manipulated in any way, and that is XRP. There will be 100 billion. There are 100 billion XRP, and there will never be any more. Mathematically, there will never be any more. And so I say all of that to make a point. I believe that people that believe in Ripple are going to be not just stock owners, but I believe a lot of them are going to own physical XRP for that one reason, if no other. But the other huge reason, of course, is going to be because that network, the stock and the XRP are not necessarily going to correlate. Both of them are markets, and in markets, it's not always going to make sense. You could see the XRP fly past even the share price. You don't know, or it could stay as just a fraction, but you don't know, and that's what makes it exciting. But I just wanted you to all see what share dilution is, because this is one thing that XRP will not have ever. There will be 100 billion. So if you own 50,000 XRP, they're not going to be able to split your XRP. It's not going to happen.
Assume a company has 10 shareholders that own 1 share apiece, or 10% of the company each. If the company issues 10 new shares and 1 new investor buys them all, it now has 20 shares outstanding. The new investor owns 50% of the company, and the original 10 investors have seen their ownership decrease to 5% apiece. This is share dilution, which reduces the value of an individual investment and can drastically impact a portfolio. Shares become diluted when shareholders convert optional securities, when a company raises capital by making a secondary offering, or when a company offers new shares in exchange for acquisitions or services. The warning signs investors should watch for relate to any emerging capital needs or growth opportunities. A company may need money to cover expenses and liabilities. Funding large ventures or projects like the construction of a new manufacturing plant leads many companies to roll out secondary offerings. Another warning sign is a company granting employees a large number of optional securities. Firms calculate and report a diluted earnings per share value that shows what the shares would be worth if executive stock options, equity warrants, and convertible bonds were converted to common shares. The if converted and treasury stock methods are used to address each class of a company's potentially dilutive securities. Financial statements reveal dilutive EPS values, making them easy to analyze. Investors need to watch for the signals of potential share dilution and understand how this might impact their investments and portfolios.
I just wanted you to see that. I mean, that is an actual thing. I would buy Ripple shares in a second. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad thing to be a Ripple shareholder. I'm just saying that there are going to be reasons such as utility and the fact that it can't be diluted that are going to be reasons that people hold XRP instead of or in addition to owning shares of the stock, like physically have their own private keys. So I tweeted this out yesterday having to do with this. FYI, shares of Ripple or any other stock can be diluted. There will only be 100 billion XRP ever. And that's an important thing for you all to know. Now, this guy tweeted this out, and I saw this and wanted to show it to you. Look who I ran into at lunch today. Super fun convo about futures and many possibilities, XRP, David Schwartz looks really pissed in this thing, or maybe he just doesn't want to be there. I don't know, but I just wanted to show that to you. XRP Crypto Wolf, Dubai is launching a crypto valley in a tax-free zone. They'll offer many services like incubation for startups, co-working facilities, blockchain training, education, events, mentoring, and funding with the help of its partners from the Swiss Crypto Valley. And then there's this. Sergeant Obi-Wan sent me this. Very interesting comment. I do not hold Ripple XRP, but their army really is the best. Anytime poor MoneyGram makes a post, or Lagarde, or anyone for that matter, that has any rumor tied to Ripple or XRP, they go crazy in the comments. It's inspiring. The dedication is on another level playing field. I think this is an interesting comment because it's something that a lot of people don't think about. Think about how powerful that is for anyone who's thinking about partnering with Ripple or who's thinking about adopting on-demand liquidity or Ripple products, to know that they've got this built-in group of this army that is going to tell the world about it and spread the word. You can't buy that kind of press, folks. I mean, that is massive. And this is something that is probably very underestimated, maybe even by Ripple. I don't know if everyone truly appreciates. When's the last time you saw an army of people like this in social media that is reporting on some specific company stock or something? It doesn't happen. Digital assets is a thing all its own, folks. The crypto utility guy at Utility Guy 7 sent me this. China's blockchain rush. Over 26,000 firms operating, nearly 80,000 registered. This is just talking about how aggressive all these people are getting with blockchain firms right now in China. Same thing's going to happen in the U.S. It's going to be the .com revisited before it's over. Okay, Leonidas is having an XRP arcade logo competition. They're going to be going through some changes in the next few weeks. Appearance and content-wise, a new logo is one of those changes. 200 XRP to the winner. Submit all logos underneath this tweet. The winner will be chosen February 2nd. And he's got the rules here. So go check it out if you know how to do graphics. That'd be a great thing. Okay, let's give out a title. This guy right here, Cuervo XRP, he wants to be and is now the official Army medevac helicopter pilot who made his first XRP investment from Iraq of the Digital Asset Investor channel. So it is. Congratulations, Cuervo XRP. And then we've got this from CS May. He asked me to show again this token tax. This is the company that helps you do your crypto taxes. I've got this in the description of all of my videos now. So if you want to go check out token tax, these guys make it easy, because if you're like me, your taxes, they tax on the IRS plans to tax on every transaction that you do. So if you buy Bitcoin, then you sell that for Cardano or XRP or anything else, everything is treated as a transaction. Well, this company helps to manage all of that and literally helps you download all of those things into this software, I guess, and keep track of all of it and help you get your taxes ready. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that this might be an easy way to help you on your taxes. Look in the description of all my videos. Thanks for listening.